Imagine giving everything you have, doing all the right things, and still failing. Not once, but again and again. Now imagine this. What if those failures weren't pushing you backward, but quietly preparing you for a level of success you're not ready for yet? Most people fear failure because no one ever tells them this truth, but by the end of this video, you'll see why your failures may be the most powerful advantage you have, and how to use them to change your life starting today. Failure reveals what success can never teach you, and that truth is uncomfortable because it goes against everything we're told growing up. We're praised for winning, rewarded for getting it right, and celebrated for outcomes, not effort. Success feels good, and because it feels good, we assume it must also be the best teacher. But comfort is a terrible instructor. It doesn't challenge you, it doesn't question your assumptions, and it never forces you to look at yourself honestly. Failure does all of that, whether you're ready or not. When you fail, there is no applause to distract you, no validation to hide behind. There is only you, the result you didn't want, and a quiet but powerful question hanging in the air: what now? Think about the last time something didn't work out for you. Maybe it was an exam you studied hard for but still failed, a business idea that never took off, a job interview that ended with a polite rejection, or a relationship you gave your heart to that still fell apart. In those moments, success has nothing to say. Success can't sit beside you in disappointment and explain what went wrong. Failure can. It forces you to slow down and examine details you would have ignored if everything had gone according to plan. It shows you your weak points with brutal honesty. It reveals habits, mindsets, and decisions that need to change if you ever want a different result. Success often lies to us. It convinces us that what we did was perfect, that our method is flawless, that we figured it all out. But many times, success happens because of timing, luck, or help we don't even notice. When something works, we rarely question it deeply. We move on, hungry for the next win, carrying the same blind spots with us. Failure doesn't allow that. Failure pulls the curtain back. It exposes the gap between where you are and where you need to be, and that gap is where real growth lives. Mana stavpam presets, indisa of munde cans a pall of it, indisa of the pasture having indi. Look at Thomas Edison, a name almost everyone knows because of success, not failure. But what made him great wasn't the light bulb that finally worked, it was the thousands of versions that didn't. When asked about his repeated failures, Edison famously said he hadn't failed. He had simply found thousands of ways that wouldn't work. That mindset didn't come from success. It came from sitting with failure long enough to learn from it instead of running away. Every failed attempt taught him something success never could. What assumptions were wrong, what materials were unreliable, what ideas needed refinement. If he had succeeded early, he might never have understood his invention deeply enough to change the world. Failure teaches you self-awareness in a way success never will. When you fail, you are forced to confront yourself without filters. You see how you respond to pressure, disappointment, and uncertainty. Do you quit at the first sign of difficulty, or do you pause, reflect, and try again? Do you blame others, or do you take responsibility? These answers don't appear when you're winning. They appear when things fall apart, and once you see those patterns, you can't unsee them. That awareness becomes a powerful tool, but only if you're brave enough to use it. Consider an athlete training for years to compete at the highest level. Winning a race feels incredible, but losing one can be transformative. Just a loss forces the athlete to review their performance frame by frame. Where did their form break down? Was their preparation enough? Did fear or overconfidence play a role? That kind of deep analysis doesn't happen after a win because there's no urgency to improve. Failure creates urgency. It demands change. And that demand is what sharpens skills, discipline, and focus. Failure also teaches humility, something success rarely offers. When you succeed repeatedly, it's easy to believe you're untouchable, that you're somehow different from everyone else. Failure reminds you that you're human. It puts you back on the ground and reconnects you with effort, patience, and persistence. Humility doesn't weaken you, it strengthens you. It makes you open to learning, listening, and growing. Some of the most respected leaders in the world carry humility not because they've never failed, but because they failed deeply and survived it. J.K. Rowling is a powerful example of this. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she was rejected by multiple publishers, struggling financially and doubting herself. Those rejections weren't just obstacles, they were lessons. They taught her resilience, patience, and belief in her own voice, even when no one else believed in it. Success later amplified her work, but failure shaped her character. Without those difficult years, the success might not have lasted because she wouldn't have had the emotional strength to handle it. Failure teaches you how to adapt. Life rarely goes exactly as planned, and success doesn't prepare you for sudden changes. Failure does. When something collapses, you are forced to pivot, to think creatively, to find new paths forward. You learn that there is more than one way to reach a goal. This adaptability becomes one of the most valuable skills you can have, especially in a world that changes constantly. People who have never failed often break when their first real challenge appears. People who have failed and learned know how to bend without breaking. There's also a quiet courage that grows out of failure. The courage to try again after being disappointed. The courage to risk looking foolish. The courage to keep going when motivation fades. Success doesn't teach courage because success doesn't require it. Courage is born in moments when quitting would be easier than continuing. Every time you choose to stand back up after failing, you strengthen that courage. Over time, it becomes part of who you are. Failure teaches patience, another lesson success skips over. When things go well, we expect them to keep going well. We become impatient with delays and setbacks because we're used to smooth progress. Failure slows you down. It forces you to respect the process instead of rushing the outcome. You learn that meaningful growth takes time, repetition, and persistence. This patience doesn't just help you reach your goals, it helps you enjoy the journey instead of constantly feeling behind. Even in everyday life, failure shapes us more than we realize. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. No one gets it right the first time. You fall, scrape your knee, feel embarrassed, maybe even cry. But with every fall, you learn balance, control, and confidence. If riding a bike only involves success, you'd never develop the instincts that keep you upright. The same principle applies to careers, relationships, and personal growth. The falls teach you how to stay balanced when life speeds up. Failure also strips away illusions. It shows you what you truly want and what you're willing to work for. When something becomes difficult, many people discover they didn't want it as much as they thought. And that realization isn't a loss, it's clarity. It helps you redirect your energy toward goals that actually matter to you. Success often keeps you moving in one direction without questioning if it's the right one. Failure forces you to ask that question. One of the hardest lessons failure teaches is responsibility. It's tempting to blame circumstances, people, or bad luck, and sometimes those things do play a role. But growth begins when you ask, what part did I play in this? That question is uncomfortable, but it's powerful. It puts control back in your hands. Success rarely demands that level of honesty. Failure does, and that honesty becomes the foundation for real improvement. Failure teaches empathy too. When you've struggled, you understand others who are struggling. You become less judgmental, more patient, more human. Success can create distance between you and others. Failure brings you closer. It reminds you that everyone is fighting battles you can't see. This empathy doesn't just make you a better person, it makes you a better leader, friend, and partner. There is also a deep inner strength that failure reveals, one you may not know you have until you need it. When you survive something you thought would break you, your confidence shifts. Not the loud, fragile confidence that depends on praise, but a quiet, grounded confidence rooted in experience. You stop fearing failure as much because you know you can handle it. That confidence is priceless, and success alone cannot give it to you. The truth is, success shows you what you can do when everything goes right. Failure shows you who you are when everything goes wrong. And who you are in those moments matters far more than any achievement. The lessons learned in failure stay with you, shaping your decisions long after the pain fades. They guide you, protect you from repeating mistakes, and push you to grow in ways comfort never could. So if you're facing failure right now, don't rush past it, don't numb it, don't ignore it, and don't let it define you as weak or incapable. Sit with it. Listen to what it's trying to teach you. Ask better questions, reflect honestly, then take one small step forward, even if you're scared, especially if you're scared. Because on the other side of failure isn't just success. On the other side is wisdom, strength, and a deeper understanding of yourself. Remember this, success may give you results, but failure gives you roots. And with strong roots, you can grow higher than you ever imagined. So if you're standing in the middle of a setback right now, feeling tired, discouraged, or questioning your worth, hear this clearly. This moment is not the end of your story. It's the part that gives your story meaning. What you're going through is shaping you in ways success never could. Every lesson you're learning, every tear you've held back, every time you chose not to quit when quitting felt easier, is building a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and unshakable. Don't wait for confidence to show up before you act. Confidence is built by action, especially when the outcome is uncertain. Take one step today, even if it's small, even if no one sees it. Apply the lesson your failure revealed. Change one habit, improve one skill, make one brave decision. Progress doesn't come from getting everything right, it comes from refusing to stop. Remember, failure is not a sign that you're incapable. It's proof that you're trying, stretching, and growing beyond your comfort zone. Most people never fail because they never dare. You did, and that already puts you ahead. Let your failures refine you, not define you. Let them fuel your purpose, not your fear. One day you'll look back at this moment and realize it wasn't breaking you, it was preparing you for a level of success, responsibility, and impact you couldn't have handled before. So stand up, take a deep breath, and move forward with intention. Your future is listening to what you do next.